Hello my crafty friends, Corrine here from Corrine Crafts. I hope you are well. Well, I have a new project for you today. Now this is something a little bit different. I have never done a card. Well, I've never used them before today. Yesterday was the first time really. My Brushos. Brushos are a powder and they are a highly pigmented crystallized powder, and I'm going to tell you more about them. They come in little pots like this. I'm sure you can get bigger pots as well, but I have the little pots. They'll go a long way, and you can they won't react with water, so you can paint with them, you can make backgrounds with them. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I love that. I'm going to show you now how I made it, and I'll give you a bit more information about your Brushos. You all know, and if you've watched any of my previous videos, that one of the things I really like to advocate with this channel is to try and use bits and pieces from your craft stash that you've had for a long time, and that is no different with this video. I was having a tidy up and I found my Brusho crystal colours. I've got this small set which has got these colours in here that you can see, these 6 colours. You can see the colours. There's a lilac, a red, yellow, a blue, that's orange and green. But I've also got this larger set here. Wow, look at that. 24 I think it is. Yep, and that's got all of these lovely colours in. Let me show you. There you go. Lots of yellows going into oranges and reds, into purples, blues, greens, different greens, terracottas, browns, greys, black and white. Now, as you can see from the pack, they're all still sealed. I must have bought these on a whim and looking at the dust on the box a lot of years ago. And then I demonstrated for craft suppliers, so I always had to demonstrate what they asked me to demonstrate. So I very rarely crafted for my own fun. So I'm going to show you Brushos. Now this one I've opened up the pot. It's the only one I've opened up the pot for to do this. And they are a crystallised powder, as you can see. Let me get my little spatula and then you can see. They're a lovely crystallised powder. They're water-based and they're really good for painting and staining, printing, stenciling, whatever you want to do. But they are really good if you want to paint with them. This one's actually yet green, but it does look pretty orange in there, but I promise you it's green. But they are so highly pigmented. So yeah, you have to be careful with them, and you can stain your hands or your clothes quite badly. So apparently one good way to get it off your hands is hand sanitizer. That's the word I was trying to get out. Now this one I haven't taken the lid off, because the other way of using them is to pierce the top of the lid. Just pop something sharp through the lid, just like that. Now what you can do then is put a drawing pin, like a notice board pin in there. I haven't got any at the moment, so what I probably would do would be to pop just a pin in or something like that. It stops them leaking, but I'm going to be quite careful with mine, so I'm not overly concerned at all. Now and then I've just popped the colour sticker back over the top to protect it. As I say, they're highly pigmented and you can do lots and lots with them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a gorgeous background with that, and then we're going to stamp it on top of it. So we're going to have a go. So the first thing I would do is I've got some water. Now you can put them onto dry card. I am using watercolour card, but I'm going to spray a little bit of water over. I've got myself a piece of kitchen. Now look at that. That's where a little bit touched, and it's gone onto. You can see it's coming off my brush. Off my spatula. Look at that, and I can see it on my pokey tool. It's everywhere. So I'm just going to take off some of that water. I just wanted to just dampen the card, just to give it a good base. Doesn't matter about that because it's going to work with what we're going to do. So now I'm going to take my cover off, and I'm just going to put a few drops on here. So just go on here and tap the back. Now this green, sea green, has got, like I say, it's got quite a lot of yellow in it. Obviously, depending on how big you do the hole, depends how much comes out. So you can see it's starting to starburst. But if I come back in with my water again, oh wow, look at that. Look at that start to really burst. And then I thought, I'll have a play and see if I can blow them around using my air blower. And they really do blow around. So you can have lots of fun. So I'm going to come in with my yellow. And I can put that on top. And obviously there's water on there. Let me just make sure that holds. Sometimes you sort of have to just I suppose if you kept a pin in it, that would keep the hole open, wouldn't it? A bit better. I can see that yellow starting to spray. My hole is not very good there, so let's just give it a little bit of a, there, see if it's, it's definitely coming out. Okay, just be careful, this is why I'm doing it on a mat. And I might just do a tiny little bit more of the green, quite like a bit down here. There. Coming out now, there we are. Right, okay, put my little lids on. And then I'm going to just give those a spritz. Oh, look at that. Now, if you feel like you've got too much, you can always blot. And now the intensity of the colour is going to be affected by how much water you use, what the quality of the medium that you're doing it onto. I'm doing it onto a good quality watercolour card here, so I'm getting quite a nice lot of movement on here because, you know, it's moving around. But I love those different colours. So the best thing to do then is to get that dry. So you can blot it. If I blotted it, it's going to, you can see, it'll take some more of it off. So I might just touch it a little bit. I don't want to take any more colour off that. I'm just going to dry it with my heat gun. Be back in a minute. Okay, there you go. So I've got that dry now. I wanted that to be really dry. Now, obviously my card's a little bit cockled and bendy because of putting the water on, but don't worry. The one I'm going to use on my final project, I actually did last night, and I just put it under a stamping block overnight and it soon flattens out. So, anti-static bag. I'm just going all over with my anti-static bag and you'll see why in a minute. Now the next thing I want to do is I thought I would draw a faux border on here. So I've got a 0.3 art liner and I'm just going to draw a border. You can draw whatever you want. I'm going to do a different one to the one I've got on my finished one just so that you can see. I'm just going to come around like this. It's very similar to the one I've got on my finished project, but not quite the same. All the way down. Now, if you wanted to, you could draw this border on first and then put some masking tape on. You just have to be careful because masking tape's good, but if you're going to really soak your card, it could well smudge underneath. And I sometimes think it's better to have lots underneath than a smudge underneath because then it just looks smudged, whereas this way it just looks like you've gone over it. So once I've done that, then I'm going to find myself some stamps. So I'm going to find some stamps that I think would work well with the background. So these are a set from Funky Fossil. It's got this hair. The hair has a stencil, but we're going to be using these two sort of grass ones here. And you'll see why I just did my anti-static bag in a minute, because we're going to heat emboss over this, because I thought that would look really, really good. So, get those off. I'm going to use both of those too. Let's go that one to there, and that one to there. Oops. Just like that. There we go. Lift those up. Now, heat embossing. So if you're going to do heat embossing, you obviously need to use a pigment ink. So we use a pigment ink because they stay wet for longer, and that means that I can add some embossing powder. So I've just got a black pigment ink. Sorry, my anti-static bag's dropped onto the top. So I'm just going to pop that all over. You can just about see that to the side, and then I'm going to pop that on there. Because I'm heat embossing, I need to know that I've got a perfect stamp image. That's why I've done it on my stamping platform, just so that I can go back. Yeah, you see it. Watercolour paper is very, very absorbent, which is why we use it. So I sometimes find that if you're doing things like heat embossing, your inks do sort of suck up. And plus, I mean, I've added water to there, but I've then added my heat gun to it to dry it out. So, you know, there's no moisture in there, so it will sort of suck all the moisture out of your inking. I'm just going to put a little tiny bit more on the top, but that's not bad now. I don't need to worry. It's a good pigment ink. I know I've got plenty of time to work with it. It's not going to dry so fast that I can't, you know, I'm going to lose that. So pop that on there. Oh, much better. And now I've got mucky fingers. I want to be careful because I don't want to get ink everywhere. Okay, so what I need to do now is slide that off. Actually, that's what I had this piece of paper for. I'm going to then just sprinkle over a little bit of embossing powder. Now, I don't know if everybody else works like this. For me, the priority is getting the embossing powder on. I've used a clear embossing powder over a black ink. You could use a clear ink and a black embossing powder, but then I always worry about speckles of the embossing powder. Or you could use black and black if you want really intense. It's entirely up to you. I like to use, like I say, a black ink and a white embossing powder. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, it's all right. Right, that could stay on there for as long as you need it to. It's not gonna change it. So I'm just getting a wipe to wipe this stamp. It's not going to change it. That'll heat emboss whenever you want. The only thing you want to be careful of is not knocking the powder off. But I'm quite happy that that's quite safe. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take those off. Oh, and I've got a couple of little butterflies. So let's pop a couple of little butterflies on. We can have one on the white. There. I like this one, look, because this one is like a little sideways butterfly. We can put that coming on there, and then let's find another regular butterfly there. Actually, I'm going to take that off and put it on there. There we go. Right, okay, so I'm going to do exactly the same on there. It's not going to hurt that at all because I've got the stamps. I'm not touching that. I've got the magnet, so it's going to protect that. So I know that's perfectly fine. But and that powder can sit on there. I wouldn't leave it on for ages, but I can do my inking and stamping so that I've got it all in one place. I probably need some more ink on that. Yeah, look, they're not quite right, are they? Let's put a little bit more ink on. Onto there. Bet that'll be enough then. Oh, perfect. So let's take that off. Being careful not to knock it off the ones underneath. And then let's put a bit of powder on here, bit of powder on here. There we go. I could have always used my little scoop, couldn't I? Just to sprinkle it where I want it to be. There we go. And then I can put that back in the pot. So I didn't even need paper underneath it. Just knocked a little bit of the powder off there. There we go. Right, so now that's all got the embossing powder on, we can heat set it. I love this. It's people's favourite technique to watch. Now luckily my craft iron's heat gun's quite warm. So let's go along here and see how quickly that changes. I'm trying to do it so that you can still see it. Oh, look at that. You see that just change? It's fascinating to watch. Watch the butterflies, the heat does it there, go straight down. Watch this, hopefully you can see it, as it changes all the way down. Where the heat, once the heat gun's hot, there you go, look at that. You can see where it's done because it's gone from being sort of grey to back to the jet black. There we go. Doesn't that look lovely? How pretty is that? So effective. Really, really is. Now, as I said, I've got another one that I did. I always get one ready. And you can see, slightly different. Every time it's going to come out different. I don't know which you prefer. I mean, I haven't got a preference. I think they're both fascinating. But this one has been under a stamping block overnight. So you'll see I've put red liner tape on the back. And the reason for that is just because watercolour card does tend to bow that little bit once you start adding liquid to it. So I am going to get some tacky glue. And I'm going to put a little bit of tacky. So you might think, well, why are you putting tacky glue on top of red liner? Because it'll do exactly the same. It will squidge out. But what it means is, whilst I'm putting it into place, it'll then hold nice and tight. But it also means that once the tacky glue, once it's pressed down and I press through the tacky glue into the red liner, that will grab like bilio and it will hold it nice and tightly. So there you go, you can see just a little bit oozed out there. And look at that, now it's mounted on a bit of black. Isn't that, that's not going anywhere now. That's lovely. And that's now holding perfectly flat. So I have got a card base. Now, the great thing is this was 4 inches by 6. I never said how big that was. Sorry, that's 4 inches by 6. And this is a pre-made 5 by 7 card. You always know if I'm using a pre-made card if it's a side opening, because I would probably never make a side opening card myself. So this is a 5 by 7 pre-bought card. And I've just found some nice green, which I took the centre out of, and I put white on top. And I'm just going to pop that onto there. I have put a little bit of foam tape on, just because I don't like doing totally flat cards. It's just my personal preference. I just like a little bit of interest on there. And I won't use my tacky glue. I'll use my PVA glue, just because I'm not using it to stick the whole card. I'm just using it to give me that wiggle room on that. Oh, I know what I haven't done. I was going to show you. Oh, I've done that. I was going to put black pen around there, and I've forgotten. It's too late now. Okay, but it won't be a problem because I've done it onto white, so it's not going to look odd. But I was going to show you, you could put marker pen around there. I've done it on another video. So there we are. Look at that. Now the last thing I will do just to finish this off is I've got some Tim Holtz Ideology stickers, sentiment stickers, and I've never used these yet. I've not had them that long. You get, I thought you got 2 sheets. Maybe you only get 1 sheet. 1 sheet, there we go. And I'm going to do, is it It's Your Day? Is that a good size? Let's just, oh, and I might put this one, Enjoy Today. Enjoy Today. And I'm going to pop that. So they look like those punched out ones, but yeah, they have got texture on. Actually, what I might do, I don't know if you're supposed to do this. I'm going to cut that down the middle. Quite fancy doing that. And then I'm going to put Enjoy. Oh, I could trim some down today. There we go. And that is my card done. Isn't that different? Could put a few little black gems on if that's what you wanted to do. Put a couple of, oh yeah, that looks nice, doesn't it? Black gems on there. Just like that, that'll do. And that is my card done. That's a bit different. So I just wanted to show you Brushos, one technique with Brushos. I think these are going to come out again because I'll show you how you can paint with them. You can mix it with different mediums, and because they're so highly pigmented, they would look really good. If you've got like a clear glitter paste, you could put them in and that you can create your own colours. Like I said, paint with them, do washes with them, lots of different mediums. I reckon you could even put them into glues and have that sort of gluey medium as well. Aren't they lovely? So whether you've got a starter set, you've got a bigger set, or you've got somewhere in between, so why not get your Brushos out and have a play and see what absolutely gorgeous backgrounds you too can create with these. So there you go. I'm going to leave you with that one for today. As usual, I'll put some links here. I don't know what I'm going to link to because this is very different to anything I've done before, and also to my subscribe button. And if you would like to subscribe, that would be absolutely fantastic, and I love it if you can stick around and watch some of my other videos as well. So until next time, my crafty friends, you take care, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now.